A BetterHelp ad. Therapy isn't just for times of major challenge. It's a valuable tool for anyone wanting to improve their well-being. It can help you develop healthy coping skills, set boundaries, and support personal growth. BetterHelp makes it easy to get matched online with a fully licensed therapist right from your phone. No commuting, no waiting rooms. And you can switch therapists at any time. Sign up at betterhelp.com and get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com.
What is going on? You are listening to Tags Podcast, aka Talk About Gay Sex Podcast. This is episode 760. I am your host, Steve V. Holding down the fort with me today, the one and only Kodi Maurice Doggett. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. Doing wonderful. How you doing today?
Very good. Thank you so much. Yeah. Enjoying the day here. Post Mother's Day. You are in New Jersey, correct?
I am. I'm in New Jersey. Dirty Jersey in the house.
Dirty Jersey. I love it. Well, let's get into, today I wanted to make our sex talk kind of in a continuation from Tags Live the other day when the question was asked on a Reddit, fuck buddies versus friends with benefits. Do both setups work for you or one or the other? I thought I'd read a couple of the comments and then we'll get into taking it to the next level. But I thought this was a comment that kind of related to me, and we'll discuss later, when they said, be careful with friends with benefits, especially that can really get out of hand. I met this guy, he had fire sexual chemistry and went to a few movies. Well, a couple of years later, I ended up marrying him. So yeah, be careful on what you wish for, right? Because it can turn into marriage, kind of like my story too. Somebody else wrote, I have had friends with benefits, and when those are going well, they are amazing. I want to feel connected to the guys I have sex with, and being able to do hobbies, fool around, and even occasionally spend the night is wonderful for filling up that social battery. Somebody said friends with benefits can be tricky for me because I am prone to catching feelings. I think we relate to a lot of those, right, Kodi? And
Definitely.
yeah, absolutely. I wanted to just kind of move it forward from that whole discussion. We did debate the difference between a fuck buddy and a friends with benefit, and then life gave us real world examples this weekend. I have a story to chime in about Diego and myself and one of my former friends with benefits. More to come on that. But inquiring minds. But I do think that gay men sometimes create categories because they help us emotionally organize intimacy. But real life gets messy. A fuck buddy can become a confidant, a travel companion, emotional support, chosen family, occasional hookup, someone you deeply care about without wanting bromance. And sometimes the sex becomes the least interesting part. Well, let's start this question here, Kodi. Why do some sexual connections evolve while others just stay transactional? If you had to kind of think about that, is it chemistry versus compatibility, vulnerability after sex, communication or lack thereof? What would you say? Why do some sexual connections evolve while others just stay transactional?
Yeah, it definitely has a lot to do with the sexual compatibility and the chemistry, all of that wrapped into one, but also like the willingness to actually take that next step to become friends, to make it more than just transactional. I think that that's a huge part of it because what happens for me, or what I've seen at least, is that when you go into something and it's just a wham bam thank you, it's almost as if you're kind of cut off. So it's like you're not being open to actually making it more than a friends with benefit. Sorry, a transactional thing, and maybe just like a one night stand that has to be there. And I think that's like the main component for it.
Yeah, I mean, I immediately thought of this example. I do think that we often move the other direction. Many of us have sex first and then build it into intimacy. I think I've often said, somewhat of our superpower. We've reclaimed our sexuality post sexual revolution, post just in this particular era, and I think it's really cool. I remember going on a date with a guy that I met at the Naked Beach, and we went on a few dinner dates. I got to see the whole package early on, and I was like, okay, he checks that box. And then we went to dinner a few times. He didn't really talk at dinner. It was like pulling things out of him. And I was immediately like, oh, this isn't going to work. When we had sex, it was somewhat lukewarm. And I kept thinking, oh, it was going to be great. And
Mhm.
then when I just let it kind of fizzle out because I didn't see this going anywhere, right? Not great sex and also not great communication, but he checked the boxes on like package and everything. And then
Yeah.
months later, I had posted a one of my BDSM shots in leather gear, and he started to DM me again months later and said, "Ooh, I would like to try this with you." In other words, me be the dom to his sub, and I said, "You should
Oh.
have asked for that when we were dating or when we were trying things out." And he, you could tell he wanted to try that and go for that. But to me, it was like too much time and fizzled out. And I nursed it a little bit, but I didn't follow up with them because I just thought you could have showed me who you were or what you wanted long time ago, I think. Maybe not the BDSM thing, but you could have put yourself out there a little bit more when you had the opportunity. So I do think sometimes other relationships that start with really good sex compatibility, then you can kind of move into. Do you think that's backwards of us sometimes, or do you think it's kind of our superpower as well?
I mean, it is kind of backwards, but I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's the way sometimes that relationships evolves, and I don't think that it's we should put judgments on whether if we have sex first and then turn into friends, or if we're friends first and then it evolves into something else. It's a journey, and you know what, your journey is not going to be like anybody else's. And honestly, I feel like, so for men, two men being in a relationship together, as opposed to a man and a woman, I feel like women have to protect themselves a lot more. First of all, they can get pregnant, so
Right. Yeah, there's that.
there's that. That we don't even have to deal with. So I feel like they have to do more to protect themselves and their being, because I feel like they have more vulnerabilities than we have, as far as like
Safety
bodily autonomy
issues.
and
Yeah.
safety. All of those things goes into being a woman, and two men being in a relationship, we almost get to shed those. So I think that, again, you should just, if not, judge yourself on if you are sexual first, and and if that's something that you are uncomfortable with, then take those steps to reconcile what's going on there. But yeah, be yourself and be true to yourself and where you are in your journey.
Oh my God, when you were just talking about all this about women versus men, I couldn't
Yeah.
help but think of a recent my barber who I've mentioned on this show before. We get into different discussions, often political, but often we'll talk about his life. He's a family man who has 4 children, and he always says, "Oh, gay men, gay, you guys have it so easy." I said, it's not necessarily that
Yeah.
easy to make a relationship work with anybody. He says, oh, come on. He's like, two men, when you add women in the mix, it's a whole different thing. Two men, there, it's the easiest out of all. You guys don't have kids. I said, some of us have kids.
Yeah, and
And
also women have sense, so sorry, go ahead.
yeah, right. And so I'm like, yeah, it's not as easy as you think, but we'll let you think that and go from there. It's just funny. I mean, you, Cody, mentioned on the last one, that episode 759, that you were looking for a friends with benefit, that you were there. Do you think you're looking for a little bit more intimacy with somebody you can spend more time without that commitment, or you tell us?
Yeah, I was thinking about it the other night, because this conversation actually sparked a lot in me, as far as coming to terms with where I am. And I feel like, for me, maybe I'm not ready for a boyfriend right now, but I definitely am craving that connection and being able to share things like watching TV with somebody, or
Cuddling, maybe.
cuddling. Yeah, oh my God, the cuddles are the best.
Yeah.
So
Or even just like maybe having somebody to, go to certain events with or
Yeah.
parties
Laugh
with.
with.
That,
Exactly.
yeah.
There's so much there that I am kind of missing as far as, connection-wise, so I think I'm gonna try and search that out. Who knows? Maybe I'll be like that guy that wrote in and be like, "Oh, now I have a whole husband," but we'll see. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to rush anything, and I'm definitely just looking for somebody that will stay there after he nuts.
There, right. Yeah. Because I think I was saying it on the last episode that there was plenty of times where somebody you had over, you wondered, could I go on a date with this person? Could this lead to something more? And inevitably they just picked up and grabbed their things and said,
See you
sayonara. And
later.
that was
Put
it.
your underwear back on.
But Joan, right back on, right, exactly. I mean, it does bring up the question: what separates someone you only sleep with from someone you'd actually invite into your life? So, some things could be checking in emotionally, the comfort level that we were just talking about, to be able to have conversations, pillow talk. Laughter is key. Somebody that you actually want to laugh with and laugh at life, trust, shared values, staying over without that awkwardness, like we were just talking about, being able to talk for hours after sex are some ways that kind of makes somebody you're interested in more. I mean, for me, it had to do with an interest in Diego and what he does. And it happened to be, I was so intrigued hiking. I wanted to get into hiking. He was such an avid hiker. And then we layered in wine, that we both love wine, and we went to wineries. And he got me out of the city rut and got me on the road and exploring. And that alone, I think, if you can explore with somebody that you're interested in and sexually interested in, can really take it to the next level. Where we then, of course, took it further as boyfriends and, of course, married,
The top
like that
level.
Redditor suggested as well. But it did start that way, as going home with them after nights at the Eagle, that was really just fuck buddy, behavior, if you will, that turned into more of a friends with benefits that ultimately turned into dating and marriage. But I think those are all good things. I mean, do you know what certain things not trigger you, but are good signs that could turn somebody that you want to sleep with as opposed to you want to spend more time with?
Yeah, definitely the laughter part. That's a really big one for me. And honestly, I feel like I can get along with a lot of people, a very wide range of people, but I don't know. I don't even know if you're asking this question, but for me, I can probably be fuck buddies or friends with benefits with a lot more people than I can be in a relationship with, because I feel like again, you didn't ask this question, but
No,
here
but
we are.
yeah, this is a give and
The-
take.
yeah, but I feel like there has to be so for me and a fuck buddy, probably all it has to be is kindness, laughter, and just a general sense of fun. But for like a boyfriend, I need somebody who actually challenges me. So I think that is like the top level that you go to, that you're in right now, the upper echelon. I feel like I need somebody to be able to not only allow me to see myself, but also to for me to want to be a better, I mean, I want to be a better person, but like for me to be like, oh wow, and have realizations and things that is a tip top level for me. But I feel like I can be fuck buddies with a lot of people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So
Or you just need a few key ones, right?
yeah,
That you could.
kindness, laughter. If you're mean, I'm not fucking you. So I think that's like a given. But if we can laugh together and we can like connect, if we have similar interests, and yeah, let's do it. Let's have sex and watch TV and play video games, do all the things. So I'm here
Which
for it.
Which brings up to a recent Reddit that has to do exactly with what we're talking about. And they were asked the question: am I supposed to tell my friends with benefits that I'm hooking up with other people?
Oh, ooh, girl.
I'll read a little bit more. Let's discuss. So, I've had this
Yes.
friends with benefit for 3 years or so. Without going too much into the title, reads exactly what it is. am I obligated to tell them if I've slept around? I have had this overwhelming sense of guilt, obligation, and I don't like it. Maybe because we've become close friends. Probably I feel obligated. I just don't want to be responsible for anyone's feelings. I know that sounds messed up, but at least I'm conscious about it. Any and all input. I I liked that their honesty to put this out there. I don't know that they really do, but I also feel like if you have a friends with benefits, you're spending time with them, why wouldn't this come up? And I know it could
Yeah.
be scary too, because you might not know as to what level I'm assuming you probably haven't had the conversation on, are you catching feelings, and it is becoming comfortable spending time with somebody, getting to know them more, plus sleeping with them at the same time. It could be scary to put that out there that you're sleeping, because how are they going to respond? But I do think if you spend more time with them, you should casually bring it up and put feelers out there. What would you say to this?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think that it's very easy for sex and emotional feelings, as far as romantic feelings are concerned, for them to get like enmeshed or intertwined. So I feel like if you are having the inclination that you need to check in with somebody about some things, as far as where are you at, what's going on with the two of you, then it's time for you to do that, especially if you feel guilty. Like, that should be a sign that you should at least have a check-in. A check-in is not bad. It's something that you can kind of gauge where you are in your relationship and what's going on, and you can actually let him know where you're coming from, and just be upfront and honest, and that's probably the best way for you to move forward.
Yeah, I do think, and somebody brought up in the comments, I think it's expected since both parties aren't exclusive. It's also good to tell one another from a health perspective, too. Now,
Mm.
assuming that both parties are taking precautions in terms of PrEP, we all know things like, you can get other STDs, STIs, and so forth. And if you're running the gamut, running out there, outside of this friends with benefits, you don't owe the other person, but it would be a courtesy, I think,
I mean,
mention.
yeah, I agree with you. I think that, like, pretty recently, within the last couple months, actually, I was hooking up with somebody, and I thought that there could be maybe a chance that something could like that could
Okay.
happen, like, an STI could have happened, and
Okay, right.
immediately it's an awkward conversation to have, but it's something that I needed to do in order for us to, for my conscience, number one, and for us to, like, can you imagine giving somebody something and then being like, okay, you wanna you wanna go again? No, that person won't
Yeah.
respect you anymore, because, for me, I would be totally turned off if somebody did that to me. So it's
And,
something that I wanted to do.
and here's the other thing that you could do is you could almost preface the conversation with, hey, I know we haven't really talked a lot about STIs and all this. I wanted to let you know that I am also, you're the person that I'm really enjoying hanging out with and sleeping with, but I am out there having some fun as well. And I wanted to be aware from an SDI perspective. If I get anything, I would let you know, of course, but you
Yeah,
could start from the health perspective and then get into, because I am having some fun here and there, but I'm not spending time with these people. It's just fun. And
yeah,
gauge it that way. Start from a health perspective kind of situation,
yeah.
and it's like you're doing your due diligence, if you will.
And if it helps anybody, the response that I got was incredibly positive. It was like, because I think I kind of broached the conversation with, like, I'm not being a good boy out here. I'm being a very bad boy. And he was like, the person was like, well, guess what? I like bad boys. So that you never know the response you're going to get. So, and I'm sure this person that you are giving this information to will be so appreciative that you're being open and honest with them, because that's the most important
Absolutely.
thing.
Which brings us into this past weekend when Diego and I were out and met up with he knows him, but it's one of my former fuck buddies that I used to get together with.
Oh,
And the three of us ended up getting together, initiated by Diego. And the whole experience was actually very cool because it was nice that he initiated it, and the original FB was totally for it, and we had like a really good threesome experience,
Love
and
it.
yeah, and it will probably just stay in that fuck buddy moment. I like this guy; he's very nice, but I mean, I don't see it. It's not, we're not going to be in a throuple or anything
I was
like
gonna
that
say,
anytime
oh
soon.
my gosh, another wedding? Oh, I'm ready.
No, definitely not at all. But
I can sing
it was
again, girl.
it does. It's interesting though too how a former person melded, because you never know how that's going to go. And I
Yeah.
did love that it was initiated by Diego and my former fuck buddy, and they made it happen. I was about to get another cocktail, and they're like, "Oh, we're heading home," and I'm like, "We are? Oh, okay."
Oh,
So
we?
yeah,
Okay, we speak
right.
French now?
Right. So all good. And I mean, I think it was a lot of fun. And so, yeah,
Fun.
so
Yeah.
absolutely. Um, Last question. I did want to do a little round table though,
Cute.
on
I'm
that I
ready.
think would be fun. Yes, quick round table. What role do you want intimacy to play in your life right now? Not just sex, not just relationships, but companionship, adventure. What would be, if you had to say, what do you want intimacy to play in your life right now?
I mean, I thought this is around. This is heavy right here. I for it as far as intimacy is concerned, I probably want commitment light, not actual commitment.
I like that.
I want somebody to, you know, be there that I can kiki with and have a good time with, but we're not necessarily mutually exclusive. So no boyfriends, just F buddies, and because I want a little bit of commitment, just a little bit of you. Oh, if we're in the same space at the same time, we can. Or in the same neighborhood, and we're both horny, we can hook up.
And I want continued connected hot gay sex with my
I mean, I
husband,
want that
and if we
too.
have a third,
Oh, no
great
husband.
too. So yeah.
Love it.
I mean, maybe queer intimacy doesn't always fit traditional labels, and maybe sometimes the people we meet through desire end up becoming part of the emotional architecture of our lives. And all of that sounds great. And let's keep this conversation going over on our Tags Patreon community, where the conversation continues all week. We want to hear from you. Friends with benefits, fuck buddies. Are you into both? Are you looking for one? Where are you on that spectrum? Because they're not quite the same thing, and they can show up in different ways. And we want to hear from you. Let's go to patreon.com/tags podcast, and we'll read some hopefully on Wednesday night when we are live with Tags Live. Okay, well, so many hot topics to get into, and I can't wait to get into them with you, Kodi. When
Yeah.
people are seriously pissed, apparently, that Grindr outed them with its latest Madonna advert. You were the one that initially told me that Madonna's on the grid, and she was promoting various things that you could order, photos, singles, promoting the brand new single album. And when you turned on, the very first thing you would hear is Madonna say, "Hi, Grindr, it's mother." Well, apparently, even if you had your dial ringtone off, it bypassed that, and that's the first thing you heard. And many people were saying Grindr playing a sound on ad that starts with Madonna saying "Hi, Grindr" when you open the app, even sounds are turned off, is a safety issue. People were quick to point out that, oh my gosh, is Grindr outing me, including a real life story of one guy that actually was with his family. So my phone was on silent, and I got outed to my entire homophobic family because it said, "Hi, Grindr." They all shouted at me. I ran out, and I'm staying at a friend's place on his
Oh
couch
my
now.
God.
I don't even know what to say. I'm literally shaking. So I don't blame this on Madonna because, of course, I love her, and I wouldn't ever blame this on her. I do blame Grindr that they should know better.
Yeah.
To perhaps, do you think? Do you remember it shouting out at you, or did you have to actually click on her image? How did it
Well,
work?
I think it says it out loud as soon as you open it up. I'm pretty sure that
It
happens,
was like
but
an ad, right?
yeah, I think yeah, I'm pretty sure that it just says it. And I'm 100% sure because I always have my AirPods in, so it's never a concern for me.
Oh, yeah, you always
Yeah,
have those earbuds. Yeah. I
always.
don't think you ever, Cody like lives with those things in him.
Even if I'm not listening to anything, I will, because also it's like signal to
A
other people that
shield.
I don't want to be bothered. but
Hmm.
but also I'm constantly listening to stuff, so there is a reason I always have them in. So I think that it does say it immediately when you open it up, and like that's a huge concern because a lot of people are not out. So I feel like they need to do something to correct that very soon in order for I understand
Yeah,
that it's
I'm sure the
probably a
promotion
way.
is over with by now,
Oh, no,
but
I think yesterday I even opened it and it said it. It
oh
was
my
very
god,
recently. Yeah, it was very recently.
it's
So,
gonna go on till
I don't
the
know about
debut of
today.
the album, July 3rd, and we're gonna.
Maybe.
I
That's
mean,
wild.
I agree with you that it could be a safety. I think it was a fun marketing tactic. I'm sure she wasn't really in. She agreed to work with Grinder, I'm sure, but it was some marketing exec that pitched it to Grinder. Grinder should know better because how long didn't we just celebrate 10 years? And they're in the business of technology and safety. They should have known better to clock that or have a different way that, okay, I get that you want it to send a message, but it should be if you click on it, or it should just say something on the screen, right? Fine, take over my
Well,
screen for the ad, but don't have it bypass my silent mode, current phone mode,
wow.
and say that. So I blame Grinder for negotiating this marketing deal because I don't know any other artist that's done this. Do you?
No, I don't know anyone else that's
I mean,
ever
it's
tried that
brilliant
before.
marketing, but
And honestly, I see where kinda I'm gonna be devil's advocate for a second and be like, because I understand where it's coming from, and on a marketing and advertising term, I can ignore Madonna in the square on the grid.
right.
I cannot ignore somebody saying, "Hi, Grinder." Maybe they should change it to something else and just have it be Madonna's voice, and the person can kinda play it off. There's ways to get around it, but
Yeah.
them saying it out loud is something that you can't just brush off willy-nilly. So I kind of understand from a marketing perspective, but I do agree that they should say something different and not say Grinder in it at all.
Yeah. Hi, it's Madonna or something like
Yeah,
that.
hi, it's Madonna, my new album or something like that. Just yeah, something that
Yeah.
is indescript. It could be a YouTube video.
Yeah. Because everybody knows that they're there on Grinder, so we don't need to, but anyways,
Are
I
you
mean,
sure?
once again,
You-
she's causing controversy, but
Yeah,
hopefully that guy that was outed can, his homophobic family, I hope they, can come around.
I hope so
Okay.
too.
Yeah. Jack Schlossberg is related to RFK Jr. And on the opposite court, he's a Democrat and he wants free PrEP for all. And it's his cousin, RFK
Yeah.
Jr. Quote, I actually don't want what they care about, Schlossberg told the advocate of Trump and RFK Jr., adding, but it's not helping the American people. He's a Democratic congressional candidate, Jack Schlossberg, and unveiling a national proposal to eliminate out of pocket costs for HIV prevention drugs while accusing his cousin, HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., of dismantling federal HIV prevention efforts. So he is New York's 12th district running for that Democratic congressional primary. I hope he gets it because he would be on our team and he represents New York here. And his two-part proposal calls the No Pay PrEP and PEP plan, which his campaign describes as a first of its kind national effort to make HIV prevention drugs completely free at the point of care. And what I like about this is he has really shown in the proposal how the Trump administration with RFK Jr., his cousin, have taken away a lot of the money going towards HIV prevention and shown what earlier administrations like the Biden administration did. But he really wants to make this free for all. It's not a luxury drug that we should be looking at. It's really a life-saving drug. What do you think about his mission and what he's presented?
I think this is great. I think that this is exactly what we need right now. I think that there's so much that is going on that is attacking common sense. I feel like, and the
Yeah.
health and of the entire country, of the people of this nation. I feel like that it's been taken lightly. And RFK is the what is he again? He's like the Surgeon General or something like that.
He's the head of Health and Human Services.
Wow, you might have to cut that out. I sound like a dummy.
No, not at all. Yeah, Human Health Service Secretary Robert F. Kennedy. Yeah,
Yes, and I can't believe it because some of his ideologies are so backwards, and so I really feel like, we need somebody to combat that with actual science. So yeah, I'm glad that he's out here and he's putting all of that information back out into actual information out into the society and the community.
absolutely. Okay, well, remember when we were talking recently about DJ John Summit and he took on Charlie XCX because Charlie XCX said that death on the dance floor is dead, which I don't agree
Hmm.
with at all. She has a project coming out, but Mother Madonna seems to think that we're back on the dance floor. My personal goal or thing that I wanted to do this whole year, which I am doing, is dance. I want to dance. So there is no death on the dance floor, and you can dance anywhere. But John Summit took to Charlie XCX recently and said, I disagree with you wholeheartedly, and started to get into it with Charlie XCX. Well, she didn't really have anything to clap back at, but all of her fans did. And she has got a lot of fans. And one of them called John Summit that he had PrEP belly, which is getting out of hand. And started a whole trend on people wondering, what is that? Is that a real thing? Can I get a belly by taking PrEP? Well, now health experts are coming to the table and actually saying, no, that is not a product, because it really started a whole trend of people looking this up and that fear that it could instill, because many of us are very vain, do not
Girl,
want a drug that we would take that does save our health but could cause a belly, right?
yeah.
And what health experts are saying is that while there's really no evidence, Rona Vale, the Associate Medical Director of HIV Services at Callan Lord Community here in New York, co authored PrEP guidelines for New York State. And she tells them magazine that while PrEP can cause initial side effects like nausea or bloating among new users, much like any form of medication, these are not lasting and should not discourage people from taking the vital HIV prevention drug. It is true, quote, that a small percent of folks are intolerant to the medications and have continued side effects, in which case we would switch them to a different form of PrEP. But someone who's taking oral PrEP and not having side effects will not develop physical changes to the appearance of their belly. So I think what this really ultimately says, Kodi, is that, well, if you are noticing that you have a little bit of a belly and you've been on PrEP for a while, it could just mean you have a little bit of a belly. And that's fine too. But it's not because of PrEP. And this idea that it went viral because people were accusing John Summit of that was really dangerous. What do you say to this?
Yeah, I think that again, we need to probably be leading with facts and
Yeah.
maybe if people are noticing that they have a belly, they need to find something else to blame because it's not the prep apparently. And so I'm glad that again a scientist with somebody, a medical professional, is out here speaking with facts and informing the people.
And to be really honest about what we saw when John Summit posted a picture clapping back at Charlie XCX about the dance floor, he was literally DJing a party. He is by no means has a belly at all. It's like ridiculous that we're even having this conversation, but it was focused, like you almost didn't see his eyes. He just had it kind of, he had a crop top tee on and he was dancing and he was relaxed, right? I mean, how many people are like, but I'm telling you, there was no belly. It was just, he was relaxed, dancing, probably arching his back, which pushed his stomach out a teeny bit more, but it was by no means a belly. And once again, it's ridiculous, this conversation that we're even having. So,
Yeah, it is. But
yeah,
here we are.
right. Okay, what is ballmaxxing? Uh-oh, not back to the maxing. Why are so many men doing it? Well, there's not even a new, because we've talked about scrotox and on this show before, which people are doing. We talked about Boomer Banks doing scrotox. We've had Chris Bustamante on this show, who actually injects scrotox, which is really a form of Botox for your balls to relax the balls so that they hang lower. But there's been a recent trend of people not going to scrotox, but they're ball maxing and they're using silicone to inject their balls. And it's not
Ooh.
new, it's been around for a long time. Marcus, a 57-year-old ball maxer, spoke with Men's Health saying he's been obsessed with blowing up his balls for decades. His scrotal sac is 14.5 inches, the size of a small cantaloupe, and he achieves it during silicone lube. So I think the difference, though, the risk, just so you guys know, is the scrotum area is very sensitive and contains delicate structures. So there could be some nerve damage to it. I don't believe you get that with Botox when you inject it. I'm sure there's some precautions that you need to take, but me personally, I am not into this ball maxing because I think it just balloons it up, where Scrotex actually relaxes the balls and makes them hang lower. Out of the
Mm.
two, which would you do, or which do you prefer to see on one of your new friends with benefits, Cody?
um, Definitely the Scrotox because I don't know, the silicone just seems like it gives me like images of, the butt injections and things of that nature. So,
Yeah.
and I know how that could actually affect you in the long run. So, I want everybody to be as safe as possible. I understand that people want to have certain areas enhanced or they want it to look as pleasing to the eye as possible. So I'm with it as long as it's safe. So just be as safe as possible out there. But definitely the Botox, the Scrotox for me.
Yeah, exactly. And in recent updates says that Katya, who from RuPaul's Drag Race, who is going to go on tour with fellow Drag Race star, who is she going to go on tour with,
Trixie.
Cody? Trixie Mattel. And she has pulled out from a Netflix series that they were going to perform at and didn't give a lot of information other than she was plugged up with tubes in the hospital. Well, now it was a blockage to her intestine that they had to actually remove parts of her intestine because she had a blockage. But she, happy to say, is recovering right now. No word on the new date for their special, but she thanks LA's Cedar Sinai and her doctors. She says, thanks to the surgical team at Cedar Sinai, especially Dr. Matthew Bloom and Dr. Sydney Caputo. And shout out to Nurse Audrey for being a baller, she wrote. Hallelujah.
Oh,
The season 7 and All Stars 2 contestants first alerted her fans on April 29th, but it's great to see that She's recovering, and we will see when we get the Netflix special. Netflix is a Joke comedy festival that I think would be a lot of fun to watch. But yeah.
Oh yeah, they're hilarious together. So I'm glad, and I hope that Katya recovers soon, and then we get to see that more and more of them. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we love giving advice on the show, and today is no different. This one comes from a Redditor where they asked the question, update, found my partner has been talking shit about me on Reddit and hates my guts. Do I confront him? Some people have asked for an update since I'm not planning to use this account anymore. I'll keep it brief. By the time I had confronted him, he had deleted his Reddit account because he'd seen my posts. We had a
Girl.
conversation that turned into a one-sided hours-long argument where he called me grossly overweight. I'm 5'8" and 180 pounds. Blame me for our non-existent sex life. Blame my antidepressants and every other problem we have because I take medications. Anyhow, we are trialing a separation. He said he wants a divorce, but will do couples therapy for the kids or until I realize how fucked up I am and how much I like to play victim. Oh my gosh. Divorce him, right?
Girl, throw him in the garbage. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. A partner should not be trying to belittle you, especially on a public forum. That's
I know.
wild to me.
And then to be found out and caught on the platform
and then
is
still blame the other person for it. Like,
yeah,
what?
right. And say that you'll do couples therapy, but it's a little too late for that, I think. It's yeah.
It sounds like zero taking accountability, and I feel like you're probably better off without this person because if you're going through all these things right now, you need somebody to support you, not tear you down. Damn,
absolutely.
that's messed up.
It's this. I love this response that says it all, just like what we're saying. Sounds like a loser husband who created his own resentment of you because he couldn't be a big boy and have an honest conversation with you. Amen to that, right? Hallelujah to quote Katya. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness, we could do this all day, but you've got a movie to go see. You're going to see Devil Wears Prada too.
Yes.
Finally.
I know I'm a little late, but
That's
I'm going.
Okay. We already got our ticket sales in and we did well.
Yep. I can't wait. My report will come on Wednesday.
I want to hear your report on this. Do a little book report, movie report. You can always follow my co-host Kodi on Instagram and Blue Sky at Mr. Maurice. He's got a music video out you can watch right now, Proof of Love. Available on YouTube, yes. If you just put in Kodi Maurice, Proof of Love, yes.
Yep, that's where it is, on YouTube.
Okay, let's make it a summer anthem. Let's get it out there more. I love it. Follow me on the gram. I am _Steve V. We are live Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern time. The best way to get the link is to follow our social handles or go to tagspodcast.com and click on Tags Live. And in the meantime, continue having hot gay sex. Lovely.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.